I'm an absolute mess. But I keep putting this off and I keep putting this off. And you know what? I am a mess. So here I am, no makeup done. Yeah, it's time to just talk. So today is my weight story or my weight confessions or whatever you want to call this. I don't know, but that's what I'm here to talk about my weight and how it has been a problem for so long, and not so much how I'm going to fix it because that will come, but I feel like I need to start with my history and where I've been in order to like really think about things and what it is that I need going forward. I kind of wanted this to be somewhat similar actually to my debt story video, which I posted about a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit more than a year and a half ago. And, um, you know, posting that story was the starting point of me getting out of debt. And since that starting point, I have paid off over $30,000 worth of debt and I have succeeded. So I kind of feel like I need a starting point. Oh, Lucy. So I feel like to start losing weight, I need another starting point. You're real cute, hon, but you're kind of messing with stuff over here. So this is my weight story. Hi, I'm Rachel Lynn, and I am working on paying off my student loan debt and losing some weight along the way. I'm also here to give you tips, tricks, inspiration, and motivation along your debt-free and weight loss journey. I just stated in the intro that I have paid off over $30,000 worth of debt, and as far as weight loss is concerned, I kind of feel like I'm starting over yet again, but we'll get more into that when I am talking about everything else. So if you have not already joined me on this journey, please go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below so that we can inspire and motivate each other together. And after you hear my weight story, I'm going to need some extra inspiration and motivation. So please join me. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that my channel is about both budgeting and weight loss. But if you've been following me more recently, you'll also know that my weight loss has been stagnant and even started to climb a little bit, which oddly enough is kind of in line with my debt payoff. I left my job in May, and since May, my weight has been stagnant, and then even in the last couple of months started to go up again. So, wow, they really do go hand in hand. So I have been talking about this issue with a couple of other YouTubers, and we decided to get together and come up with this new Health is Wealth series because your health is very, very important, and it can even affect your finances, especially if you're not healthy. So Rebecca from Quest of Fire and Dawn from Sensible Living with Money Mom and I have gotten together to kind of do this Health is Wealth series where we check in once a month on our weight loss and our goals and everything that we're doing as far as health is concerned. For today's video, we're posting our weight confessions, our weight story, how we got to where we are, and just kind of where we have been so that we can mark that start. Now, Money Mom's kind of already gotten a little bit of a head start on us. She is doing really, really great with her weight loss so far in the last couple of months, but she's still just kind of starting out as well. So I encourage you to please go and subscribe to both of their channels. I will link them down below in the description. They have really, really great advice on financial aspects. And with this new series, I'm sure that they will have really great things to say about their weight loss as well. We decided to kind of band together to do this because we need accountability. We also want to give you a broad perspective on weight loss. As far as I know, unless they have changed it recently, Rebecca will be focusing on a keto diet. Money Mom is focusing on a keto slash paleo combination, and I will be focusing on doing what I can with what I'm provided and trying to live as balanced of a diet as I can in the household that I live in. So now let's finally get into my weight story. Growing up, I was always a little bit bigger. I think when I was younger, I thought that I was bigger than I really was. However, I do remember being quite young and I had to shop in the women's section because none of the teen section girls clothes. I guess there wasn't really a teen section back then. I think that kind of evolved over time, but none of the girls' clothes fit me anymore. I kind of halfway remember like somewhat being proud, like, oh, I get to wear grown up clothes. But then there was also this thing in the back of my mind, like, I don't fit these clothes anymore. I'm really big. Like, this is not good. And so it was kind of a mixed bag of emotions, I guess. Like, and I never really talked those out with anybody else. So I don't know if I was just like, I don't even remember how old I was. So I don't know if I was just old enough that I could start wearing bigger clothes or if I was just too big as a child. And I mean, looking back at pictures of me as a kid, I was a little bigger than, my peers were, and I think I was always aware of that. But I don't think, looking back on pictures of myself now, I don't think I was ever as big as I thought that I was. I guess I always thought that I was more overweight than I really was, but I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's hard to tell when you're looking back on the past, and having the memories that you have at the same time. It's, can I trust my memories or do I trust what I see in pictures? Honestly, I can't remember what it's like not to wear an extra large or bigger, other than one time, which I'll get into here shortly. I've just always been bigger. I was teased a lot as a child for my clothing and for my size. Um, I couldn't really wear the in clothes, and that was partially due to my family not having the money, my parents not willing to buy me everything that I wanted, and I do thank them for that. And it also had to do with my size. I remember buying some of my own clothes in middle school because I had the money, and I got really excited to buy this one thing that I wanted, and I bought it and I wore it to school, and then I was teased for it. So, I mean, it middle school's a rough time anyway, but it was just like I couldn't win either way. And I don't know how true it is because I know how bad middle school just is for kids all around, but I couldn't win, and it was either because my clothes weren't the right clothes or I didn't fit the body type for the clothes that I should be wearing, even when I did wear those clothes. So yeah, it was just like my childhood wasn't the best. My high school was great. I went to a wonderful, wonderful high school, but I still look back on my childhood and just it wasn't the best. I think some of that had to do with my weight, and because I thought that it had to do with my weight, that made it harder for me. And and so it just, you get put into this cycle of um you gain weight because you feel bad for yourself and you're a child and you don't know how to deal with those emotions, and then you gain more weight and then you get teased for it and then you feel bad and you gain more weight. And now as an adult, like, it's kind of the same cycle. I don't get teased by others, but I put myself down. Like, I tease myself and I put myself down. And so I gain weight and then I feel bad and then eat food to feel better and then gain more weight. So it's a vicious cycle. So I made it to college, still wearing about an extra large. I've never really been too much bigger than that or any smaller than that, really. And I remember weighing myself somewhat regularly, and just about every time I weighed myself, it was about 220 pounds. Now, I'm 5'6", and so that is very overweight, maybe even in the obese category. But it was pretty steady all through college and even post college, the a few years post college. I have tried many different things. I was a part of Weight Watchers for a while, and this was a very, very long time ago. The program is completely different now, as far as I understand it. I had a little bit of success with Weight Watchers when I really tried. But to be honest, I didn't always try very hard. So fast forward to early 2013, I was finishing up a teaching job that I knew would end at the end of that year. And I moved to a new town for this one particular job. And when it was over, I didn't really know what to do. So I moved back home with my parents at this time. And so this was, summer of 2013. I was looking forward to having a job going into the next school year and didn't get a job. It just didn't happen. And I have talked about this on my channel before, but being at home with no job prospects, I was on unemployment and receiving unemployment, and I was just in the worst place of my life. And I have always struggled with depression. I was diagnosed as a child and given some medication, but I don't even remember if I actually took that medication. But then um, I didn't really do anything. I didn't really do anything further, and I never saw anybody for it. And so, if you are feeling sad or depressed or in any kind of way, I highly advocate you to see someone, and please do not follow my example, because I never saw anybody. I never went to see a counselor. I never went to see a therapist. I never did any of that. And I feel like a lot of my struggles might have been relieved a little bit if I had actually seen someone. But at this time in 2013, I was depressed. I didn't get out of bed for weeks. It's hard for me to talk about, but it's what happened. And because of that, I gained a lot of weight and in a couple of months' time. I reached a tipping point in this depression. It's kind of hard to explain, but I just kind of came to the realization that I wanted to live even if things were terrible. And a life was worth living even when it sucks. And I've actually said that before here on this channel. Life is worth living even when it sucks. And I realized that, and I had a mindset change. I won't go into too many more details about what my thought process was to get there, but I'm sure that you can kind of guess at that. And because I decided that I wanted to live my life, then I needed to change things. I started posting on YouTube actually around that time just to give me something to do. And so slowly I started doing some vlogs, and then I thought, I've gained all this weight. I was having back problems because I hadn't been moving for weeks and months actually. So I knew that I had to change, not just doing something, but I needed to work at something else. And so I started losing weight, and I decided that I was going to lose weight. I was just sick and tired of being overweight, and it was time for a change. This was at the end of 2013. This was like right as the new year was beginning. And 2014, I started losing weight. I got accountability through here on YouTube. I met lots of other friends in the weight loss space, which most of them are no longer here on YouTube, unfortunately. 2014, I lost a lot of weight. By June or early July, somewhere in there, I actually lost over 60 pounds. That's amazing. I felt better than I had ever felt in my life. I was no longer wearing extra larges. They were too big on me. I was actually starting to wear larges, and in some cases a medium. I still have all those clothes. They're just packed away in my parents' basement right now. Over that summer, I actually went on a cruise with my parents. That was an amazing trip, and I was at my best physical fit self that I had ever been in my entire life. But I let myself be on vacation. But I still see that trip and me taking that vacation as my downfall. And I don't know if that really was my downfall or not, but I just could not get back into a good rhythm once I got back from that trip. However, I also moved. I got a teaching job in 2014, and I moved from Louisville to Northern Kentucky and had my own apartment again. But I was also extremely busy, and I tried. I fought. You can see the history here on YouTube. I tried and I fought for my weight loss, but I didn't try hard enough. I let my responsibilities of being a teacher outweigh my responsibilities to myself. And slowly over time, I gained my weight back. In 2017, I decided to move back home to Louisville. Um, I wanted to pay off my debt and save up for a house. I wanted to be in Louisville where my family was. And so I moved home when I did. I was struggling to make ends meet, but that goes along more with my debt story. So 2018, I put out my debt story video, and around the same time, I also kind of restarted my weight loss journey. I weighed more weight than I did when I started my weight loss journey in 2013. And so I didn't just feel like I was starting over. I felt worse than that. I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's a worse than that, but there was a worse than that for me because I had gained weight. Like, I was starting negative. It was like all that weight that I had gained was like I was in debt to myself. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I felt. So last year, I lost, I think it was about 20 pounds. So I'm still not in the negative, and I need to remind myself of that. I'm no longer in the negative. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, I think at some point I had lost more than that, but then gained some back, and it's just kind of like a back and forth kind of thing, which is not good for your health, by the way. Um, and this year I made it a goal to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. I lost 60 in like 6 months when I was working hard in 2014. So I figured that's a pretty decent goal to have. It's a goal that I can meet because I've done it before. Um, but I think I forgot to take into consideration that I'm older and weight loss is a little bit harder for me now. And I'm surrounded by more temptations than I was when I originally lost weight. I wasn't living at home when I lost that weight. I was living in somebody else's home. Was living with a friend of mine's parents, and they ate pretty well. They were okay. They were okay health wise. And I paid for my own breakfast and lunches for the most part, and all of my snacks. And because I was living in somebody else's house, I was told many times that I was welcome to the snacks and to the things in the house, but I felt weird about it. And so I stuck to my own snacks, I stuck to my own food, and I didn't eat theirs. Now that I'm at home, like, I don't feel weird eating the snacks that my parents buy, especially because I don't buy any of my own stuff anymore. I made it a goal this year to lose 50 pounds. I was doing really well at the beginning of the year. I lost about 20 pounds in the first 3 or 4 months of the year, and then May hit. I struggled internally almost the entire month of May on whether or not I should stay at the school that I was at or leave my job. And I ended up leaving. And I thought that I would get another job. And it's been more difficult to do that than I thought. And so now here I am. I'm like stuck making nothing because I don't have a job. So and I see a lot of similarities right now to where I was in 2013. I'm living at home. I have no job, although, to be fair, I do have more job prospects now than I did then. If you have seen my debt story video, it'll probably sound very similar to my weight story video. Your weight and your finances go hand in hand. And that's why I focus on both on my channel, because they are intertwined. I am slacking on my weight loss. I've been gaining weight lately, And at the same time, I haven't been able to pay off debt, and I haven't been able to make any traction with that. I'm and actually, I've been gaining debt just a little bit because I'm making the minimum payments on income-based repayment right now. And my monthly payments right now don't cover the interest. I've weighed my options on this. I could pay a little bit extra each month to cover the interest, but the difference between if I pay the complete interest compared to how much interest is accrued if I'm not paying the interest, it's like minimal. And in the meantime, gaining debt while I'm gaining weight. So that's why I am really glad that I have partnered up with both Rebecca and Dawn. I just need that extra encouragement, and I need that extra motivation. And knowing now that I am doing this with a team and not just by myself, I think that makes it a little bit easier. A little bit. Like, very little bit. It's still hard. It's still very, very hard. And so I don't want to focus so much on what I'm going to do in this video because there's so much to focus on where I've been and my journey to get to where I am right now. I know that I had stated in, I think it was Money Monday, like maybe 2 Mondays ago. That's where I talk about what I spent in the previous week, but I also kind of updated you on my weight, and I did update you on my goals, and it was the same weight because that was at the beginning of the month. It was like 242. When I started my journey at the beginning of 2019, I was at 256. So I have still lost weight. I'm still down from the beginning of the year. That's good, but I'm nowhere near that 50 pounds that I originally set my goal. So what this means going forward, just very briefly, is I'm going to work hard with what I have because I don't buy most of the food in the house. And while I don't have a job, I don't want to put more money towards either weight loss or food for myself. But since the beginning of October, I've actually gained more weight. I am now at around 246 pounds. And so I'm still down about 10 pounds from the beginning of the year. So that is progress. But based on my trajectory from the last couple of months, if I keep this up, I will be at a higher weight at the end of the year than I was at the beginning. It's time to change and change the pattern that I've been having the last couple of months. We will all three be doing a monthly check-in with our weight and how we're doing. I think we're going to be doing this at the beginning of the month, and so I will be doing this kind of in tandem with my goals video. There are also a lot of topics concerning weight loss that I would love to get into, but because my channel is more budgeting, becoming debt-free focused, I don't want to do too much because I am more focused on my debt-free journey. But I would like to do at least a little bit of just giving information and letting you know things that I have learned concerning weight loss. If you have ever struggled with losing weight, or you have ever struggled with getting out of debt, please leave me a comment down below. You don't have to give me too many details unless you want to, because this is hard. This talking to you like this, it's hard. It's hard to admit my mistakes. It's hard to admit where I've been. And so I get if you don't want to share all of the details, I get that. That's fine. But keep in mind, I'm here for you. I understand completely. And I hope that me sharing my story lets you know that I really do understand. I understand what it's like to go into debt and not know how to get out. I understand what it's like to gain weight, both knowingly and unknowingly, and then fight your way to lose it. And it's hard. It's very, very hard. I started sharing my journey a long time ago on YouTube, my weight loss journey. I shared that partly for accountability for myself, but then also because I wanted to show at least one person, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And just because I've made mistakes since then, that doesn't mean that I can't help you now. And that doesn't mean that I can't do something about it now. So leave me a comment down below. Leave as much information as you want to leave. And just let me know that you are rooting for me. And that will be a huge thing. Huge thing. Because I'm also rooting for you. And I will comment back. Guarantee it. Unless it's a mean comment, then I might not comment back. Because that happens sometimes. And you know what? Being teased your whole life for your weight and the clothes that you wear, and doesn't get any easier. Not really. I mean, maybe a little bit. Actually, yeah, I guess it gets a little bit easier. You get a little bit more thick-skinned, but it still hurts. I almost want to say that mean comments on this video will not be tolerated. I tolerate them on my debt story video, but I think because this is a more sensitive subject than debt, I don't think I'm going to tolerate mean comments on this video. So, be nice, be kind, and make sure that if you're just being firm, make sure it sounds nice at least. Make sure you're subscribed to see both my debt-free and weight loss journeys. And I'm here for you, and I appreciate you being here for me. Oh, and make sure that you go and join Rebecca at Questifire and Dawn at Sensible Living with Mini Mom, and join them on their journeys as well. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.